Welcome to the Co-Parenting Conversations podcast, brought to you by the Center for Divorce Education. With renowned psychologist Dr. Donald Gordon, we will delve into the complex world of co-parenting during and after divorce and separation. Join us as we explore some of the emotional, legal, and practical aspects of parental breakups, helping you navigate this transformative journey with wisdom and guidance. Whether you're currently going through a divorce, contemplating separation, or supporting a loved one in their journey, the Center for Divorce Education is here to empower you with knowledge and offer you a roadmap towards a brighter future. The information presented in this podcast is intended for educational purposes only. The presentation of this material is not intended to constitute mental health therapy or to diagnose mental health disorders. The presentation of this material is not intended to constitute legal advice. Participants are encouraged to discuss specific legal questions with a licensed attorney of their choice.
Welcome back to the Co-Parenting Conversations podcast with the Center for Divorce Education. We provide online parenting classes for divorcing and separating parents, and we know how challenging communication can be during and after separation. I'm your host, Jamie, and today I'm joined again by our operations manager, Mike. Today we're diving into one of the most impactful skills taught in our programs. It's simple but powerful: the I message.
So I'm really glad we're talking about this today. It's one of those tools that sounds small, but when you use it consistently, it can completely shift the tone of not just your co-parenting conversations, but any conversation.
Right.
So just to be clear, iMessages have nothing to do with your iPhone. You're not texting your co-parent a bunch of emojis. This isn't the latest feature on your Apple device. It's an actual communication skill that helps people stay calm and heard even when things get tense. So a lot of parents tell us that they've never even heard of iMessages other than the ones on their phone before taking our class. But once they get a hang of it, it becomes one of their go-to tools.
Exactly. And it's one of those things that sounds like just another communication tip, but once you see it in action, you do realize how much it helps lower defensiveness, reduce arguments, and keep the focus on what really matters: your kids and their well-being. So, Mike, want to kick us off by explaining what an iMessage is then?
Sure. So an iMessage is a way of expressing what you're feeling and why without blaming the other person. So instead of starting a sentence with "you always" or "you never," which usually puts the other person on the defensive, you start with "I feel," followed by what's happening and why it matters to you, and ultimately what change you would like to see. This opens up the communication instead of shutting it down because you're blaming the other person. So the formula for this comes right out of our What About the Children workbook, which is a free download when you take our class Children in Between, or you can have it shipped to you. That's your choice, but it is a free download. So the formula is: I feel, insert emotion, when, insert event or behavior, because, insert impact. So let's break that down. So I feel, that might be frustrated, anxious, disrespected, worried, however you're feeling at that moment.
Okay.
When, for example, I feel frustrated when you change the schedule last minute. Or I feel anxious when the kids don't have their school supplies. Then the final part, because. You're explaining the impact of what's happening. So because it throws off their routine, because I want to make sure they're prepared, etc. So you're not blaming the other person for what's going on. You just are opening a conversation about it. So it's clear, honest, and most importantly, non-threatening.
Right. And when you're in a co-parenting relationship, especially one that's been shaped by conflict or court battles, emotions are already running high. But the beauty of the I message is that it doesn't accuse, it doesn't escalate, it invites collaboration. So let's look at a real world example. A common complaint is lateness during drop-offs or pickups. So instead of saying, "You're always late," "You don't respect my time." Try instead saying, "I feel anxious when the kids are dropped off late because it affects their routine and makes our evening stressful." So, like you said, you explain the feeling, I feel what's going on, and because why it has an impact. So it's subtle, but the tone changes everything.
Right. And it's not just about tone, it's about results. People are more willing to hear you when they don't feel like they're being attacked. That one little shift, taking ownership of your feelings instead of assigning blame, will open the door to real problem solving.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, we can also use iMessages with our kids too. So let's say your child keeps leaving their shoes in the doorway and you've tripped over them twice this week. Instead of yelling, "You're so careless," let's try, "I feel frustrated when your shoes are in the doorway because I could get hurt." Now your child understands the impact of their behavior without feeling shamed or attacked. That's teaching and not punishing.
Yes. And here's the bonus: if you keep using this kind of language, eventually your kids will start using it too.
Mhm.
So I have some quotes here that are directly from parents who took children in between online just this last month. So we always survey everybody and we ask, what were the most helpful and useful things you learned in the course? One parent said, using I statements. I understand I can be very direct in my communication style and it can be taken the wrong way without me meaning it to. So that's a really powerful moment of self awareness and a great quote from an actual parent to illustrate how iMessages can help reshape your tone.
Right.
Another quote of what was most helpful was helping to teach the kids to use iMessages when speaking to either parent about their feelings. So, again, perfect to reinforce your message about modeling healthy communication for kids. So, this is a super useful skill for everyone.
Exactly. And that's what we want. So, how do parents start putting this into practice? Let's share a few tips from the workbook. One of them is practice when things are calm. Don't wait for a heated argument. Try it out during everyday moments to get comfortable with the structure first. And be specific with your emotions. Don't just say, "I feel bad." Try, "I feel anxious, hurt, left out, or disappointed." And stick to the behavior, not the person. Avoid judgment or character attacks. It's not, "I feel mad because you're a jerk." It's, "I feel mad when our agreements are broken." And you can try role playing with your kids. Make it a fun activity. You say, "I feel proud when you help with dinner because it makes our evening go smoother." And then ask them to try one too. And the last one is write it down. If saying it out loud is too hard at first, try a quick iMessage in a text or a note, right?
Use an iMessage to send an iMessage.
Yeah, exactly.
So remember, this isn't about being perfect, just with any of the skills that we teach. You're going to slip into old habits sometimes. Maybe you'll start with "you never" before catching yourself. That's okay. This isn't about perfection, it's progress, right?
Right.
So every time you choose an iMessage instead of reacting in frustration, you're taking a step towards calmer communication, fewer blowups, and a more peaceful home life for you and your kids. It's all about de escalation.
Exactly. So if you're listening today, we want to give you a challenge. Try just one iMessage this week. Make it simple and make it genuine. Whether it's with your co parent, your child, your partner, or even your boss, just practice naming your feeling, the situation, and why it matters. You might say, "I feel overwhelmed when the plans change last minute because I want our child to feel secure." Try to keep it about the kids, or even do it with your kids and teach them.
Yes, it's a small change, but it really does make a big difference. And in the world of parenting and co-parenting, we'll take every tool that helps reduce stress and increase understanding. Even if you mess up or don't get it right the first time, you're still sending a message that you're trying, and that does count. The effort itself is going to build trust.
And thank you all so much for joining us today on the Co Parenting Conversations podcast. If you found this episode helpful, Please share it with a friend or fellow parent. It might be the exact thing they need to hear. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We've got more great conversations coming up that are all about helping you become the calm, confident parent your kids need. Until next time, take care and take it one message at a time.